I have a lump on my back near my spine that's oval shaped and quite large now. I've read lipomas are easily moved and soft. This is firmer and feels anchored to something deeper below the skin. It does not seem to move very easy either. Several years ago, I was told by a doctor it is a harmless lipoma. Oh, see Excel document, too long to fit in this box. Okay, maybe I should have read that first. Okay, so yeah, I mean, the bottom line is lump near your spine, whether or not it's easy to move and what have you, that would require a scan. And I hate to say it because I don't want to be like one of these, these days doctors, we just tend to sort of fall back on scans without so much as a by your leave. Um, um, So, however, so what was it? I was told, however, I'm getting a bit concerned at this point. If it were cancerous, would I feel pain? Considering the closeness to the spine, I wonder if it would be more painful. Not necessarily, no. I've got to be honest. I mean, lump near the spine could be being cancerous is not quite so much of an issue. Is the other issues is it something to do with the bone? Is it something to do with the nerves? We don't really want to get in there certainly in a local anaesthetic operating theatre and find that it's something to do with a nerve or a bone or extremely deep and we can't find it. So it really would be advisable to get a scan on that. And a scan will be able to give you an idea of what it is. Won't be tell you exactly, but it will give you an idea of whether it's got fluid in it or whether it's solid. The depth of it, which is really important if you're considering having it removed, because sometimes lumps and lipomas, which I think is what you've been told this is, lipomas can be quite deep. So even though it's a lipoma, which is a harmless fatty lump, it can be kind of deep to muscle. And so again, you don't really want to be in a situation where you're trying to remove a lump that's deep to the muscle under local anesthetic. That'd be very hard to do. It'd be very uncomfortable. And so if it is deep, then that will be something we'd be thinking about a general anesthetic. Although the other question is, do you want to have it removed at all if it's so deep? And the fact that it doesn't move very much again suggests it might be deeper. The more superficial it is, the more mobile it is. If it's kind of deep under muscle, if you can imagine, it's kind of underneath the the blanket, lots of blankets in the bed or something. It's a bit more difficult to remove than if it's just underneath one blanket. If it's underneath 10 blankets, you can't really move it. So basically that might be the reason why you can't move it. It might be that it's anchored to deeper structures, and again, hopefully the scan would help give us an idea about that. But the depth of it is important. But if the other thing is, so we've got to think, why are we having a conversation here? Is it because you're worried it's cancer, or is it because it's a nuisance? Because if it doesn't really move much, and if it's not painful, then you could say, well, I'm not. Do you have to worry about it? And if you say, well, I'm worried it's cancer, then that's a different kind of story. Then the scan might be able to tell us, or they might be able to put it, if they can't be convinced on the scan, they might be able to put a needle in and biopsy some of the tissue, some of the lump with a needle to save you having to go through surgery. Because as I say, if it's deep, then surgery might be a little bit more difficult. Whereas if it was superficial and superficial to the muscle, then we could remove it for you, and then that would obviously tell us what it is. But if it's going to be difficult to remove it, if you're going to need potentially general anesthetic to remove it, you might consider not having it removed. You might consider just having it biopsied, or as I say, maybe the scan will give you an idea whether it's a cancer or not. So it sounds like it needs a bit of a conversation, that one, because if it is quite deep and near your spine, you might be less likely to remove it, and more likely to potentially leave it alone if you can be reassured that it is unlikely to be anything to worry about. So yeah, interesting case. Thanks for the question. Probably needs a consultation and a chat with your doctor about that one.